Asalamu'alaikum all, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. If you are new, welcome. My name is Nafisa. I am a Muslimah life coach and I support sisters with relationship and mental health issues. So if you would like to be coached by me, you can find me over on my website, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. So in today's video I am sharing some modern day shirks that I think all of us should be very careful and try our best not to fall into. So I hope you guys will find the video useful and informative, and so without further ado, let's jump straight into it. In today's video though, I am speaking about some modern day shirks that I think we all need to be aware of and be very careful not to fall into. So I hope you guys will enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So as I am speaking or shirk in this video, I'm talking about other things or behaviors that we either do or give to other people, or do or give to other things that should only be done or given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God. So yeah, I hope that makes things a little bit clear for those of you who are perhaps new to Islam or are interested and don't quite understand what shirk is. Now then, the first form of shirk that I think we all need to be very careful about not getting ourselves involved in is the shirk of reading horoscopes. Reading horoscopes has become such a general part of the culture, especially here in the West, that sometimes all you need to do is open a magazine, if anyone still reads magazines, or open a newspaper and you will see horoscopes there. People refer to themselves based on which horoscope title they belong, according to what dates they are born in and all of that. Reading horoscopes can be a form of major shirk. And the reason why is because horoscopes, what they do is they try to predict your future, or they try to predict what is happening in your life or how you are feeling and things like that, based on the readings of stars. Okay, so is giving this right of Allah, which is the right of knowing the future, to another human being, or through the use of reading stars. Okay, so be very careful of horoscopes. I would say stay absolutely clear of horoscopes, period. Don't read them. If you are reading the newspaper, bypass that page very, very quickly. If you didn't know that reading horoscopes was haram, make sure henceforth from this day that you seek forgiveness from Allah for what you've done in the past. If you have been involved in reading horoscopes, and you make sure from now on you stay absolutely clear of it. Do not refer to yourself as a Sagittarius and a Scorpion or whatever else the different names and titles are given. Make sure you stay clear of all of that, and that you are not involved in reading horoscopes, because it can be a way of predicting the future, and we know that that is a right that is only given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes when people get into reading these things, they actually start to believe it, and this is the dangerous part of being involved in horoscopes. Is not just like, oh, I'm just reading it for fun. First and foremost, you shouldn't be reading horoscopes for fun, but secondly, there is this sense of actually believing in what you actually read in the horoscopes, and then you start to live your life in accordance to that. So say for example, if the horoscope says, you know, today you're gonna go through X, Y, and Z, or you're in this kind of mood today, then you start to think, oh, I am actually in that kind of mood. Oh, this might happen to me today. Oh, I better be careful. I better not do X, Y, and Z, so that this bad thing that the horoscope has mentioned may happen today, so that that thing doesn't happen to me. And before you know it, you are living your lives according to what the horoscope is predicting. So be very, very careful. Reading or being engaged in any form of things that's to do with horoscopes is haram. So please do be careful and make sure that you stay absolutely clear of horoscopes. The next shirk that I would like to speak about is, I mean, this is not really a modern day one, because people have probably been doing this for centuries, but that is like visiting mediums. So nowadays, oh, subhanallah, there are a lot of fake people out there who consider themselves mediums and are just robbing people of their money, but the act of visiting a medium in and of itself is major shirk. And the Prophet ﷺ actually speaks of these type of things when he said that whoever goes and visits a medium, their prayers will not be accepted for 40 days. For 40 days, that Muslim's prayer is not accepted. And that's just for visiting, like out of curiosity or whatever, okay? it doesn't mean that you're not going to pray for 40 days. You will still have to pray for 40 days because prayer is obligatory upon every single Muslim. But despite the fact that you're praying, your prayer is not accepted for 40 days just because you visited the medium. Now, the most dangerous part of it, of course, tends to happen is when you then go, the medium then tells you certain things and then you start to believe it. And again, in a similar way to the horoscopes, you then start to live your lives according to what the medium has told you. And interestingly, I think in a hadith, when Aisha radiallahu anhum, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asked the Prophet, well, you know, sometimes they are right though, so you know, what should you do in that case when they are right? And if I remember correctly, what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said was that these type of people, what they do is that they try to reach as close to the angels as possible, and they try to listen out for what the angels are saying of the things that Allah has decreed. And what they try to do is come back and give that information or pass that information down to the medium. But what happens is that oftentimes, for every single one truth that they say, they mix it up with 99 lies. So the majority of the things that they say are lies. The majority of the things that they say are not true. So therefore, we definitely should not be visiting these mediums, and we definitely should not be listening to anything they've got to say or believing in anything that they've got to say. And whoever goes to them, listens to what they say and believe in it, has disbelieved in the message of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are one of the things that you can do that takes you out of the fold of Islam. These are one of the things that when you do it, it can basically turn you into a disbeliever, period. No matter what you're going through or what your situation is in life, never you visit a medium, because imagine you are on your way to go and visit this medium and that ends up being your last moment on this earth. You will die the death of a non-believer, despite all of your trials and difficulties you've been through in this life, despite, you know, all of your efforts towards the way of Allah. You might do this one thing and that might be the end of you, and you will die a disbeliever. If you have been involved or you visited mediums before in the past, again, Allah is most forgiving. Just seek forgiveness now. You have to do a complete tawbah. It's not even an issue of just saying, oh Allah forgive me. You have to do a complete tawbah, regretting that you did it, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you, promising that you will never ever do it again, and absolutely making sure that you try your absolute best not to ever repeat it again. So it needs a complete tawbah to make sure that you are forgiven for this sin, and definitely make sure that you never ever involve yourself in this act of visiting mediums ever again. The third shirk that I'm going to speak about, is that of showing off. Now, I have categorized this to be a modern day shirk because of social media. Social media has made it so easy for everyone to be able to share their lives with other people. And in the midst of sharing your life with other people, it has become a culture that we share absolutely everything we're doing. You know, we can't sit down to eat unless we've taken a photo of our food and shared it with the world to say, look at what I'm eating. You know, you buy something that you are proud of to be able to achieve, and then you feel the need to show the world as well. The difficulty with social media and the act of showing off is that sometimes, especially if you are a content creator, and I understand this as well, is that sometimes you may have certain things or you might do certain things and you think, you know, perhaps if I share it, it may inspire others to, you know, do the same or think along the same lines, or it might teach somebody else how to also acquire this thing. Or maybe, you know, maybe let's say for example, I bought a new kettle and the kettle is really good quality and I want to share it with other people so that if they are looking for a good kettle to buy, they will know that, oh, okay, this is the type of brand that I might be able to buy. So you then sharing that item can be a means of good. But where it becomes a problem is just sharing stuff for the sake of just sharing stuff. And for content creators like myself, the best advice I would give is that before you share anything, just take a moment to like check yourself and check your heart and check your intentions for the reasons why you are choosing to share this thing. And that you're not getting yourself into a habit of just sharing absolutely everything just for the sake of sharing. Especially because the evil eye is true. It is absolutely true, guys. Most of us social media content creators don't go out there to share the downsides of our lives. We don't go out there to share the things that don't look so good. Most of us share the highlight reel, and people see that highlight reel and they think that that is your life, period, because that's all they ever see about you. And so it is very easy, because you never know who's on the other side of the screen watching you. You literally never know. So it's very easy for people to potentially give you the evil eye because of all the things that you are constantly putting out there. Okay, so be very careful of showing off. Going back to the issue of shirk, how is showing off a form of shirk? Showing off can be a form of shirk because sometimes we show off because we want other people to praise us. Excuse the lighting, guys. Today the sun is so bright and it's just doing its own thing. Hopefully you guys can see me, and that's what's most important. But another aspect of showing off that can turn into shirk is especially when it comes into doing good deeds. There is that thing of having sincerity when you do your good deeds and hiding your good deeds, because sometimes you may end up doing certain good deeds just to show off. And if you analyze yourself carefully enough, you might realize that I'm actually just doing this thing to show off. So be very, very careful of putting the good that you do out there. It's better to do good that you hide, because that way you can guarantee that that goodness is sincerely for the sake of Allah. And that's something that I'm teaching myself, and I'm trying so hard to be more conscious of. There are certain things that I do that I choose not to show, not to put out on YouTube or put out on social media or whatever, because I just want to safeguard the fact that I am only doing this thing for the sake of Allah, or I am only doing this thing to please Allah and to seek Allah's pleasure. I'm not doing it so other people can start praising me and say, MashaAllah, oh my God, you're so righteous, you know. So be very, very careful of showing off. Now, the next thing that I'm going to mention, if you've never heard of it before, do not go and search it up, please. And if you have heard of it before, you will know what I'm speaking about. It's called the law of attraction. There are certain aspects of this thing called the law of attraction that is shirk. Okay? There are certain parts of it though that is in line with what Islam teaches. For example, you ask Allah for what you want and you have certainty that Allah is going to grant you what you want. And the Prophet ﷺ teaches us this, that if you make dua, have certainty in your dua. Have certainty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept your dua. Have a good perception of Allah. And so those are the aspects that I know matches with what Islam says, and so therefore it is safe. Then you have other aspects of the law of attraction. It gets really, really deep. People start getting involved in doing all of these crazy stuff to try and acquire the things of the dunya. All I can say with the law of attraction is be very, very careful. I think the law of attraction can be dangerous to someone whose iman or knowledge of Islam is not very strong. If your iman or knowledge of Islam is not very, very strong, you may end up falling into a lot of shirk trying to follow the law of attraction. So be very careful of this new hype that's going on called the law of attraction that everybody seems to be following and everyone seems to be doing. My thing with the law of attraction is that if there are aspects of it that you find exist in either the Quran or in the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, then fine. But for all the other stuff that you find that relates to the law of attraction, that you know Islam does not talk about, you know does not exist in the Quran, neither does it exist in the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, or the Prophet never did such a thing, then you make sure that you stay absolutely clear of it. In general, the law of attraction, I would just say stay away from it, because I think it's very dangerous for a lot of people who don't have a good understanding and knowledge of Islam, number one, and whose imans are weak. Okay, it can be dangerous to your deen. So I will say be careful of the law of attraction. Yes, there are aspects of it, like showing gratitude. We all know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you know, whoever is grateful, I will increase them. So again, always make sure you use Islam as your reference. That is why I say it can be dangerous for people who don't hold enough knowledge about their religion. If you don't hold enough knowledge about your religion, when you start going into the law of attraction, a lot of things might sound like they make absolute sense. You're like, yeah, this makes sense, this makes sense. But because you are not using Islam as your reference, okay, you can end up falling into shirk. So please be careful and be mindful of this new hype going on of practices called the law of attraction. And so those guys were some of the aspects of modern day life that I think we need to be wary and careful of, so that we do not fall into modern day shirks. I've put this list together myself. This is not something that someone has told me or that I saw in a book or whatever. It's just using Islam again as my reference, and I've been able to come up with this list and just something to share with you guys, and a reminder for myself first and foremost before it is to all of you. So I hope you have found something of benefit in this video. If you did, then definitely give this video a thumbs up, share it with your families and friends, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment what you think about some of the aspects and things that I spoke about in this video. Insha'Allah ta'ala, I will see you all in my next video. Asalamu'alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.